So everything that I have here, I planted by seed. I didn't buy anything, and it's been a huge learning curve. And what I started using, this might just be like tips and tricks. I started using these cells, and they're good to an extent, but what I was finding is that my sprouts from my seeds, and once I put them in the garden, they weren't doing very well. They were very weak. And I'll just go over a few of the reasons why, and then I'll kind of conclude my little workshop. I want to make this brief because I want to give it over to the other organization here. So ultimately, I was putting my sprouts in the ground and they weren't doing well, like I said, and they were just kind of really struggling, and I didn't have a very good first year, which is why I'm advocating this. So this is a soil block maker. How this works is I make my own concoction of soil that I use to plant my seeds in. So what I'll do is I'll get a wheelbarrow, I'll have a combination of soil, compost, vermiculite, what other additives I might want to add in depending on the plant. I don't use any fertilizer, I don't use Miracle Grow, I don't use anything like that. I'm not scolding anybody that does, but because I use this garden primarily to eat my food, I don't want any chemicals and harsh fertilizers in my food. That's really important for me. So I put it in the concoction in a wheelbarrow, add a lot of water, and it's kind of in between like a muddy like paste, and I compress it down, and what happens is I dispense 4 blocks. They're exactly 2 inches by 2 inches, and as you can see here, there's nipples, and these are adjustable, and it creates a nice perfect little mud block, if you will, and it's very compact, very tight, and it allows me to plant my seeds. The nipple ends for the seeds can be changed from another square, which is a 3/4 inch, and what that allows is that if you're planting super small seeds, you're able to plant the 3/4 inch blocks, very tiny. And then once they sprout and they're kind of growing out of they're expanding, they're kind of growing out of their environment, you can simply take the little block and plop it into the bigger block, avoiding that shock that I was talking about earlier. Last but not least, the other thing that's really great about this is that it's a system called air pruning. So you don't actually have to do anything. Air pruning is in reference to the roots, and it avoids the bind root. So when a plant's roots start spreading out, once it comes into contact with oxygen, it won't grow out any further. It doesn't want to be near the oxygen. So it's interesting that its atmosphere kind of contains it. It's its own container. You don't need the plastic. And also, it being 2x2, it is a little bit more robust. There's a lot more nutrients in there for the plant to actually live off of. And then you don't have to dig it out. And I found me transitioning the seedlings that I had, the sprouts, whatever you like, was so easy. It was simply just make a hole, plop the square in, plop the square, plop the square, and I'm not, digging it out with like a baby fork or something like that, and it's like falling apart. It was this nice compact square, and it was a perfect seamless system that I had found. It wasn't, obviously, it's not my brainchild or anything, but I've had a lot of success,